The morning unfolded like any other in Oakwood Heights. I kissed my wife goodbye, helped my 10-year-old son Ethan pack his lunch, and watched from our porch as he headed to the bus stop at the end of our cul-de-sac. We'd only been in the neighborhood for 3 months, and while the HOA strict rules were a hassle, we were settling in. But I never imagined my son would become the target of the HOA president's latest crusade. As I sipped my coffee, my phone rang. "Dad," Ethan's voice quivered, "a lady at the bus stop is yelling about my backpack. She says it's against HOA rules and I can't stay here." In the background, a sharp voice demanded I be put on speaker. "I'm coming," I said, keeping my tone steady despite the anger rising. I grabbed my keys, opting not to take my department vehicle. Sometimes it's better not to flash your authority. At the bus stop, I saw a woman with perfectly highlighted blonde hair in a manager complaint. Bob, decked out in designer yoga gear, berating Ethan over his Marvel superhero backpack, a birthday gift I'd given him. He clutched it tightly, protecting more than just his school supplies. "Excuse me," I said, my voice calm but firm from years of police training. "Is there a problem?" The woman whipped around, her face radiating smugness. "Yes, there's a problem," she snapped. "I'm Karen Whitfield, Oakwood Heights HOA president. Your son's backpack violates our community aesthetic guidelines." I placed a hand on Ethan's shoulder. "What's the violation?" I asked, genuinely curious how a kid's backpack could break any rule. Karen brandished her phone, scrolling with purpose. "Section 12, paragraph 3, she declared triumphantly. "All visible items on community property must adhere to our earth tone and neutral palette, that garish red, and blue bag is unacceptable." I stared, dumbfounded. "You're saying my son's school backpack violates HOA rules because it's colorful?" Karen crossed her arms, chin high. "Rules are rules. The bus stop is HOA property, and we have standards. If we allow one loud backpack, chaos will follow, and property values will tank." Taking a deep breath, I said, "Ms. Whitfield, my son is a child waiting for his school bus. His backpack isn't a permanent fixture. This feels like HOA overreach." Her face reddened. "Don't lecture me on HOA authority," she spat. "I've been president for 6 years. I know every bylaw. Your son needs to leave this bus stop now, or I'll call security." I chuckled at the idea of security over a backpack. Ethan looked up, worried. "It's okay, buddy," I said. "You're fine." The school bus rolled up, and I motioned for Ethan to get ready. Karen stepped between him and the curb. "He's not boarding from this stop with that backpack," she threatened. That's when I decided to pull rank. "Ms. Whitfield, I'm not just Ethan's father. I'm Chief Jackson Reynolds, Oakwood Police Department. You're obstructing a minor's access to public school transportation, which could be considered a legal issue." Her eyes widened briefly before narrowing. "Being police chief doesn't exempt you from HOA rules," she said, her voice wavering slightly. The bus doors hissed open. "Go ahead, Ethan," I said, guiding him past her. Karen grabbed my arm, her nails digging in. "We're not done," she hissed. I gently removed her hand. "Please don't touch me again," I said firmly. Ethan boarded, glancing back nervously. I gave him a reassuring nod as the bus pulled away. Karen jabbed a finger toward me, stopping short of contact. "You've made an enemy," she warned. "I'm calling an emergency HOA meeting tonight. We'll see how your family fits in with daily fines." I kept my cool. "Ms. Whitfield, I'd like to see the bylaw giving the HOA authority over kids' school supplies. Can you show me?" Her confidence flickered. "It's under aesthetic guidelines," she insisted. "As president, I interpret those rules." I nodded. "I look forward to discussing this at the meeting. May I bring the county code enforcement officer as my guest? They're interested in reviewing our HOA compliance with state law." Her eye twitched at the mention of county oversight. "Keep your son and that eyesore backpack off community property," she snapped, storming back to her pristine home. That afternoon, I made calls to our family lawyer and neighbors who'd clashed with Karen's overzealous enforcement. A pattern of harassment and potential illegal overreach emerged. The emergency meeting was set for 7:00 p.m. at the community clubhouse. I arrived early in full police chief uniform, a rare move, but sometimes a visual cue helps keep things civil. Karen was already there, flanked by her loyal board members. She faltered when she saw me but quickly recovered. "Good evening," I said to the room, nodding at neighbors. "I understand we're discussing backpack regulations." A few chuckled, which only irritated Karen. "This isn't a joke, Chief Reynolds," she said, spitting my title. "It's about community standards." She launched into a slideshow featuring a zoomed-in photo of Ethan's backpack. "This eyesore threatens our property values," she declared. When she finished, she glared at me, expecting submission. Instead, I stood, folder in hand. "Thank you, Ms. Whitfield, for raising this, but I'm more concerned about a serious issue. This morning, you physically blocked my 10-year-old son from his school bus, grabbing his arm and mine. I have witness statements from 2 neighbors." The room went quiet. I continued, "Your actions constitute simple assault under state law, especially against a minor. Blocking school access also violates educational statutes." Karen shot up, furious. "That's ridiculous. I was enforcing HOA rules." The board exchanged uneasy looks. I stayed calm. "No HOA rule supersedes state law or allows you to detain residents, especially children. I've reviewed the covenant. There's no rule on temporary items like backpacks, nor does the color palette apply to personal belongings." I turned to the room. "I'm not here to press charges, though I could. I'm here as a parent and resident who believes our HOA has lost its way. I've invited County Inspector Davis to review our HOA practices." A woman in a county blazer stood up. Karen spluttered, "You can't bring in outsiders without board approval." Inspector Davis spoke. "Any resident can request a review. Based on initial findings, there are concerning patterns of harassment and selective enforcement." Then Karen snapped. "This is a coup," she screamed, pointing at me. In her fury, she hurled her heavy HOA binder at me. I dodged, but it struck Inspector Davis in the shoulder. Gasps filled the room. I approached Karen calmly. "Ms. Whitfield, you're under arrest for assault on a county official." Her eyes bulged. "You can't arrest me. I'm HOA president," she protested as I read her Miranda rights. As I escorted her out, the board voted unanimously to remove her as president. "You can't do this," she wailed, passing the bulletin board where her name once shone. "I've preserved our standards." The next morning, Karen was released on bail, facing misdemeanor assault charges and a restraining order keeping her 100 feet from Ethan and our home. A news crew waited outside the courthouse, drawn to the story of an HOA president arrested over a child's backpack. "No comment," she shrieked, hiding behind her designer bag, but the cameras captured her meltdown. Karen's reign of HOA tyranny would be remembered not for her obsession with earth tones, but for her spectacular downfall.